Good?
Very good, your worship.
I call this regular meeting of council for Monday, March 21st, 2016 to order. First off, we need a approval of the agenda.
Thank you, Worship. So do move that the council adopt the agenda of the March 21st, 2016 regular meeting of council as presented.
Seconder for that? Scott? All in favor? We need adoption of the minutes for March 3rd, 2016 special council meeting. Councilor Scott?
The council adopt the minutes of the March 3rd, 2016 special council meeting as presented.
Seconder for that? Councilor Casey? All in favor? And I also need a adoption of minutes for the March 7th, 2016 regular council meeting. Councilor Guy?
Recommend the council adopt the minutes of March the 7th, 2016, regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder for that? Councilor Scott? All in favor? Any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we'll move on to the council meeting action summary, page 20. Mr. Wall, you have
Thank you, your worship. There's nothing to comment on the action summary sheet, but I would like council to know that we have our YouTube page up for all the council meetings, and we will be letting the public know how to access those tomorrow. So you'll be able to access the meetings from Ustream. You'll also be able to go onto YouTube, which is a bit more user-friendly, and take a look at the videos as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay with anything else on there? Okay, we're going to petitions and delegations, and the first, 5.1, we are Ridge Riders over across 98, Chris Dell, welcome, and Randy Cutler, I think you're going to come up too. Welcome to the delegation. And I just asked you if you could use the mics there so that,
My voice isn't good enough for everyone?
you gotta yell a little louder than that.
Do I gotta yell louder? I can talk louder too, yeah.
And just click the mouse button to move through the slides.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm old school.
Okay, thanks.
One of you guys like one? We only got 2 left. We have to share.
Thank you.
Gotta speak up. Oops. So I really gotta use this thing for real?
So that we can.
Well, yeah, it's the people behind you that, I can hear you, but.
When you turn around and look at them, they
Then I can hear, okay. Okay. I'm gonna be a little nervous. So, I took the short straw, that's why I have to do this. So a little about myself, I'm Chris Dell, some of you may know me, some of you may not. To speak on behalf of the Ridge Riders tonight. I'm currently the groomer coordinator, past president of, back when we tried to start it up about 7 years ago. Moved back to Tumbler 2008 to raise my family. I enjoy it here, it's a beautiful community, it's got lots for us to do. What else? Part of the club just for my kids is why I do it. Future riding for them, right? So that kind of stuff. My father, former operations manager with the district back, I can't remember the years now, 95 to 2000, or not 2000, 1999, I believe, 4-year stint there. My mother actually did social working for the community as well back then. Sorry, slides. And the next one. Okay, some of our accomplishments. We received a grant from the Peace River Regional District. Funds were allocated to build a new cabin at Babcock, as well as we bought like a slasher, like a hand slasher for slashing trails, which was more for the 5 Cabin Creek, but it was used for other trails and areas as well. So, what else? We received a 10 years from Ministry of Forests and Lands, 2015. So we have tenure for the Wolverine Trail, as well as the Holdsworth or Bull Moose areas, some of us call it. So we're currently working on the Corlett one, but that one's a sticky one. So I think a lot of it's with mines as well as caribou, right? So, and that's currently the trail that we groom because we've always groomed that area, and it's hard to move that groomer right now. So you had to move before, so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's currently what it is, and we can't charge any trail fees on that core lodge without that tenure. So we're looking for that like second groomer so that we can do Wolverine and Bull Moose and start charging and become completely self-sufficient, right? Like the good old days. So some of our ways of creating our money was with our maps. We put sponsorships out on our maps is what we did. So companies, local companies, out of town, whatever, buy a spot on our map, and that's how we started to save money for our that way. They're sold at the Visitor Center, Shop Easy, TRN, Trent Hotel, Trailblazing, and Godwin. So those are some of the big sponsors that are holding them. We've also raised $1,000 towards the Cancer Society. Gave that to them. Oh, you're already there. All over that. So a little bit about our groomer. So our groomer is a 1972 Bombardier. It was donated. We're not sure who it was, but it was donated back in the day. I'm thinking Quintet because I believe they used to go up to their comms shelter with it back then, or their comms. So not 100% sure, but we know it was donated. Groomer's starting to show age. It's getting old, starting to break. So just the other day we blew a tire and we were out there all night fixing it, trying to drive our cabin into Babcock. So, and that's the normal stuff that's with it. Our drag as well. So the drag is what we use to level up the trail so you don't have a mogul run or a black diamond run going down the trails. Make it smooth like a highway. That's getting worn out, holes in it, it's bent, it's been hit by dozers and stuff like that from the mines. Hydraulic issues, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we've had to replace pumps and you name it, it's on there. It's houred out. We're guesstimating 3,000 hours or more. It's probably way up there. What else we got on here? So currently we groom our trail, that trail 10 to 15 times a year, that core lodge. That's what we're doing. We want to do more as we go, but it's hard to do. What else? Also, the number of snowmobilers are picking up. That's the other reason we're looking for newer groomers. Before, on an average day in a week, you'd have, in a weekday, you'd have 1 or 2 trucks out there. Now we have 10 trucks any given day kind of thing. And on our weekends, like to have 60 riders out there on a weekend is nothing. Like that parking lot's full. So like, there's not room to turn around. People get stuck, and then we become a tow truck service, which we were this weekend. So, yes. So just some new groomer prices, just so you guys can see it. So you're looking anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 for a new groomer, right? So we're not looking for a new one. So. I guess I can look up there too, right? So used groomer prices, just a rough estimate, right? So anywhere from $45,000 to $80,000. So. So with this newer groomer, or more reliable one, it would be beneficial for search and rescue. So I know it's been talked about before to assist with them, but you don't want to go out there and have the damn thing break down halfway through, right? And then what are you doing? So with something newer, it would be very beneficial for them. So they can get to a lot of places that snowmobiles can't get to because they're in a timely manner. So some of our goals, so currently we've raised $14,632 from the advertisement spots, which I was saying already, on our maps. So all funds have been allocated towards the new groomer fund with a goal of $100,000. So our goal is to purchase a second groomer and trailer to transport that thing back and forth between the two areas. That would help maintain the Wolverine and Bull Moose area. When the trails are groomed during the week, volunteers from the group can enforce the trail fees and membership from the allocation. So like, because we have those tenures, right? So we can block that road and make people pay with it. So it's our right to do it. And to get our monies, yeah. So like we were saying, the club would schedule volunteers to go out, collect trail fees and memberships to maintain trails, equipment, and emergency shelters. So, and like we've done a lot of shelters and that out there too, and signage. We've been puttering around at it. So Core Lodge, so last year, I believe you guys painted the Core Lodge? Yeah, so last year they painted it up, fixed it all up. That's the main one at the Core Lodge, so right at the parking lot. Cut up a lot of that wood that was sitting there, so we take that wood out when we're grooming. We'll take it out, so like that hot dog stand, which is actually in the hills, so that all the riders have wood burn. And currently we actually just started building a new cabin out there. Like a new emergency shelter in replace that hot dog stand, so a little bit bigger, 12 by 16, like the Wolverine cabin. We just started that this weekend past. The Bull Moose bus moved last year as well, right? I believe, yeah. So we moved that bus from Speaker, and we ended up taking out the Bull Moose because we had a shelter out in that area because there was nothing there for an emergency shelter. So. And we're currently on the midst of moving our Quality Creek bus, or not Quality Creek, Jack Pine bus. We're in the midst of moving that as well too. So Wolverine cabin, so a lot of you guys know Steve Young, I'm sure all of you do. We dedicated that cabin to him from his accident because he had helped us a ton with that cabin. So he had actually wrecked his trailer dragging our cabin pieces out there. So demolished it, well, not demolished it, but he did a lot of work too. So him and Jenny did an awful lot for the club. So we decided this year that we would dedicate that cabin to him, and we did our memorial right on the 21st, and it was Bluebird Day. So thanks to Steve, I'm sure. And we're going to continue to do that ride every year too as well. So in memory, the next slide there, yeah. So it's all the pictures from our first ride, our memorial ride this year, of everyone that attended and the plaques that we put in memory of Steve. So avalanche awareness, I'm sure you maybe have seen these before. So it's with the forestry and lands again. So what it is we've set up signs and it gives you an avalanche awareness of danger zones, areas that are safe, unsafe, kind of thing as we're riding. So we posted these at Core Lodge, Bull Moose, Wolverine. And then the new big thing is this MIN report. I don't know if you guys have looked at it, but it's just Joe Blow, who's out snowmobiling, go in and write down what he's seeing. So you don't gotta be an Avi tech to do it, but it helps out because we don't have an avalanche forecast in our area. Like we do, but it's weekly, so it doesn't really help. So yeah, so that's the new MIN report. It's a big thing. Avalanche Canada, so we had a free ride clinic this year. We had some professional sliders, they call themselves professionals. They come out and did a ride with Ryan Shelley and them. So Ryan Shelley does avalanche training in the area. So I'm not sure if they're planning on doing it next year, maybe so, but yeah, that was our little ride deal that we helped put on. And then CAC had come out 2 weeks ago or so, the CAC had come out, so we went out with them and just a little quick 5-hour, it wasn't a course, just a knowledge network more or less, but we did that with him. Just to, yeah, see the areas, and they gave us a little refresher, so hopefully we can organize some more of that stuff throughout the years as well. That was a free event too, the CAC one, not the other one. The other one is an expensive one. So just a little overview of our area. So it shows, like, these are our maps with the lands and forests. So what it's showing is emergency shelters, and it shows you your roads in, and then your avalanche dangers. So yeah, we have that posted to all our cabins to make all riders aware if they choose to look at it. And so this, pardon? Oh, it's all good.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Brandon.
So this was on Tumbler maps. Yeah, I'm on this one. I already read that one. There we go. So this is just an overview of our map. The made for areas and a couple of the sponsors and stuff like that on this page. And yeah, so they're a fairly decent map. Gives people a rough idea. We charge $5 for these maps. So. Okay, and yeah, so thank you guys for the entire presentation.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
I was a little nervous as well.
That's not the Core Lodge.
No, that's Wolverine, so that's the cabin that we put out there last year with Steve and a bunch of other volunteers and stuff.
Been a while since I've been there, so
That's
but
what
you've really
the,
done lots.
yeah, that's what the new, well, hot dogs down there back cabin, when we put on there, that's what it'll look like. It's exactly like that, carbon copy of that one.
Okay. Does any council have any questions? Council Hall.
So my first one is I see your total request is for about $100,000 at this point. Would you expect that that would be something that would be a one-time thing? We wouldn't expect to see in the next 5 years, 10 years? When would we expect to see the Ridge Riders back in here looking forward to this?
I think we'll be good with that. I think if we get that, we'll be self-sufficient and we'll be able to do all our trails and therefore charge fees for trail passes on all the trails.
And the second question I had is you made mention to how many snowmobile you thought were out in the areas. Is it 50 or something in one weekend or something?
On a day.
On a day.
On a day, on a weekend, yeah.
So during snowmobile season, what do you get, 3 months of good snowmobile in here? Is that fair to say, 3 months?
No, I would say closer to 5 months.
5 months of
Out
good
there.
snowmobile?
Oh, yeah.
On average, you'd see 100 vehicles every weekend?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure about the old club, but I believe this is the first time we've ever come in requesting assistance. I believe it's always been self-sufficient until now. It's just a big purchase, right? So
Council Scott.
When do you expect the trail fees to go in place? Would that be starting next year, and would it be all through areas, Bowman's, Core Lodge, as well as the Wolverine?
It would if we had a second groomer. We tried moving the groomer 1 year to Wolverine and then splitting it between the two, but then we're looking for assistance to move the groomer. And that's
So
just
the new groomer would be taking care of Wolverine as well as Bowman's?
Wolverine and Bulmus, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got 4 different groomers here. Is there any particular one you're looking at, or is it depending on how
No,
fundraising goes?
We're just going with what's available. There's lots out there. That's just give you an idea what's out there.
Right.
Oh,
So, what do you guys do with the groomers in the summertime? Where are they, and wintertime for that matter? Where are they stored so that they're safe from vandalism?
The groomers mostly stays up at the Core Lodge. Do get stuff stole, but vandalism is pretty good. There's batteries, gas, that kind of stuff, but you just have to put up. Not much we can do unless we buy trail cams, and that could get expensive.
Okay.
I've driven the groomer and I've worked on the groomer. And I know what I'm talking about. And it's an essential piece of equipment because I've also ridden the trails without the groomer. And you hurt the next day.
yeah.
Dr. Howell just mentioned the storage of it. I know at one time they used to store it down in the public works yard in the summertime.
Yeah, that's correct. In the summer, and they used to do maintenance with it, but I don't know how that worked because I know that the mechanic back then was part of the snowmobile club. So, but I do know that they did have a maintenance program set up for it back then. Maybe it's still there, but yeah, we don't rely off of it ourselves now.
I would think with a new unit, it might be something to look at least the storage part of it. The maintenance side would come up in another discussion, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a newer groomer would have to be moved to town. The older one is not worth much, so
Yeah. It's awesome.
Thank you, Worship, and thank you for the presentation. We talked about the snowmobile club. I can remember back in the 80s and so forth, having this marathon trip from Tumbler Ridge, went up to Alaska and so forth. Certainly a major, major attraction for Tumbler Ridge, and if we're serious about keeping up on it, getting it groomed, and being able to attract people coming into our community, as certainly the history has shown that, I think it's a pretty good investment. And certainly I have no problems with it at all. The club is well organized, you know what you're doing. It doesn't take a rocket science also you're driving into Dawson Creek and you're driving into Chetwynd or wherever, you see the lights coming out and the whole works are coming out here, they're not going someplace else, or at least we're on that one of the destinations to come forward. So from where I'm coming to worship, I think it's a good investment.
Yeah, you do see, I know this year, there seems to be more and more, every truck shows through on the back that you pass going to Dawson or the other way to coming out of Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you take the numbers and really know who's there each day, but it's one of the big draws here in Tumbler Ridge. So it's really come back. It seemed to dwindle there for a while. I don't know what was that, but I just thought it did, but it's back. No, it's great for Tumbler Ridge, it's good doing, and something that we support. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the technology now.
That'll take us to 5.2, which is Chamber of Commerce. An update to council?
Hello. I'm probably just as bad as this, so bear with me, if not more. First, we'd like to say thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Stephanie James. I did sit on the chamber board for a short time of 2014, but unfortunately had to leave Tumbler for work. So I'm back, and I'm excited to be the elected president. With me tonight, I have Donna Mary, who is our long-standing board member. She's actually the only board member that's been here since inception.
I didn't realize that till you said it.
And we have quite a few of our board members here tonight, and our newly elected manager as well, Jerry Lynn. So new board, new hired manager, sorry. So we're gonna give you a brief overview of our 2015, a glimpse of what's to come in 2016, and then of course we're gonna open it up to you guys for questions and comments, and we look forward to that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Donna first, as she is our 2015.
It's working fine. Can you hear me? That's good. So we just wanted to share with you the activities that have been going on with the chamber. Unless we've come directly to see you, you might not be aware of kind of all of the goings on, because I know that looking at each of you, we're all very busy, and so wanted to summarize. The picture in the back, I just want to share, there's Tumbler Ridge in the very far right corner. That's from the bald spot. That was last fall. He had such a beautiful year. For organizational development, 2015 was a significant year for the chamber. We, for those who might not know, started again in 2013, sort of from the ashes. The chamber had been inactive for some time, and there was a great initiative between the district and several members of the community to bring a chamber back, because we recognize that it is an important tool in the community for advancing sort of the business interests. So 2013 we started. 2014 we continued to grow and develop our board, and in 2015 it was time for us to sort of mature as an organization. And so we had a nonprofit management workshop with a fellow who came to us from the United Way, and we just discussed all of the structure and protocols and necessary sort of elements of functioning. We're not a nonprofit, actually. There's a distinction between a board of trade and a nonprofit, but really we run very similarly. And so many of the directors attended that workshop. And as a result of that workshop, we had a visioning workshop where the membership was invited and came together to discuss the goals of the chamber in the context of our community where we are right now. And it was interesting to do that over the last year because so much has changed even since 2013 when we began the chamber. And why we're here is still extremely significant and maybe even more so because we need to kind of hold this business community together. So with the board and visioning workshop, we did develop a new mission statement and pillars of the organization, which I'll share with you. Back, we're going too fast.
Can I go back?
No, here, I'll take this. And then also we had our chamber manager attend the Destination BC, or rather, it was our president attended the Destination BC conference in St. George and brought back significant learnings from that. And then our manager attended the BC Tourism Conference in Vancouver. And all of our staff and the manager have attended Destination BC training. And why those are significant is we need to have a common language or vocabulary in presenting the community to our visitors. And that's what the Destination BC workshops do, is really add a level of professionalism to our tourism counselors. And we'll move on. Okay. On to the mission statement. This was a full day workshop with several directors and members of the chamber. And through that workshop, we developed the mission statement as follows. The Tumbler Ridge Chamber of Commerce is a not-for-profit organization proudly serving our members by working together to build a stronger community and be our members' voice in Tumbler Ridge. We developed pillars of the organization, and so they are as follows. The Tumbler Ridge Chamber of Commerce endeavors to facilitate networking and communication among members by sharing ideas, strengths, and resources. To offer exclusive membership benefits to empower and support chamber members to reach their goals, and to promote awareness of the chamber, its members, and its activities to the community and region. No, don't move forward yet. I'll speak to each of those. In a small community, we recognize that different members have significant strengths not shared by all, and so coming together and identifying those amongst our membership has been very important. As chamber members, because we're members of the BC Chamber of Commerce, there is a package of opportunities available, from benefits packages to payroll companies to
Gas discount.
purchase of sale operations, gas discounts, things like this that are available to chamber members because we're part of the larger BC Chamber. We're also part of the Canada Chamber of Commerce, is that right? Newly or just in progress?
We're working on it. We will
Working on it. That'll be new for us to join the Canadian Chamber as well. And then finally, to promote awareness of the Chamber and its members and activities to the community and region. And having the Chamber of Commerce work with the district to manage the Visitor Info Center directly supports that final goal. And we really appreciate the opportunity because in that role, we have a direct opportunity always to showcase our businesses and opportunities to visitors, which is a perfect marriage. On to the next. Community engagement activities. At the very beginning of last year, you might remember that the Museum Foundation offered a 5-year master planning session and invited members of the community, so we did participate in that. That was with the Ministry of Social Development and Social Innovation. They were part of hosting that. And we organized BC Hydro job fairs last year at their request, and it was a good opportunity to work with BC Hydro. We hosted interagency and community service group meetings. And what those are is meetings where we invite all of the service organizations and nonprofits to come together, discuss and share what is upcoming, and try to support each other by sharing resources and not overlapping each other too often on the calendar. In a small community like ours, when 2 big events end up at the same time, it divides and can be unfortunate. So we really try to coordinate with those. We hosted community events such as the Multicultural Festival, the Regional Poker Ride, and Oktoberfest. The Regional Poker Ride is one that all of the visitor information centers in the Peace region co-host for a day out riding, and it brings lots of people through our community and develops a nice camaraderie. Other than those events, it's sometimes a question of having people come in and see us. So we like to have these public events so that we have an opportunity to represent ourselves and say, hey, here we are as a chamber and welcome. We did host the federal election all candidates forum and had a really great turnout of candidates for that, as well as community members. And during that election, we were able to show the candidates around the community, take them to the museum, host a dinner, and really show a lot of hospitality. They said it was the nicest reception they had in the entire Northeast, so that was lovely. And finally, we, through the year, managed Visitor Information Center operations. Stakeholder activities. This is where we're targeting our membership directly. We regularly attend local council meetings and bring that information back to the chamber. We hosted informational breakfast sessions for members. These were mostly at Canusio Cafe, and we did find that those breakfasts were largely us sitting around talking to each other rather than having community members come in. So we're still trying to find a way or venue to draw members in for these informational sessions, because the variety of topics went from IT to business development. I can't recall all of them, and none of them seem to have the traction that we were desiring. So lunch has been way better, we've noticed this year, so breakfast didn't go over well. We did host the business treasure hunt, and some of your businesses may have been involved in that, but this is where we have a list of questions and ask community members to pick up that list of questions and go and find the answers. And we had great feedback from that, where people found out about businesses they didn't even know existed in Tumbler Ridge, even having been residents for years, and could kind of find out a few things about them. So we look forward to having that again. And then over the summer in 2015, we moved to the new visitor center, a beautiful building. It has such extravagant views from both floors that it's really, it's a delight to have visitors come and be able to just talk about Tumbler Ridge and show it out the window in such a nice way. So we do appreciate that facility. So for operational development over the last year, we increased the hours of service, and so with our original fee for service agreement, the intention was that the Visitor Info Center was open May to September. And because we were very frugal fiscally, we had an excessive fund and decided we would try an experiment and run it through the winter time, and so we did. We had the Visitor Center open through 2014 fall and up to 2015 summer season, modest hours, and then through the summer season increased the hours 9 to 7, about 10 hours a day. It's open through the tourist season, and then through the winter we reduced again to about 6 hours a day, so significantly more even than last winter. And we did this to see what kind of response we had and what kind of visitation we had to the community. And I'm going to have give the microphone over to Stephanie to share that with you, but I think you'll be really pleased with the numbers. So we did see through this an increased number of chamber members, again Stephanie will speak to that, increased number of visitors, sales at the Visitor Information Center, and increased profits to the community. And so I think that's the last of my slides. So I'd like to pass the mic back over to our new president who can share those numbers with you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so this is where I get excited to look at the numbers. Oh, sorry, I wish it was a little bit bigger for you there.
Give me a moment to focus.
Yeah. So in 2014, you'll see that our total number of visitors were 5,191, and again, open for 6 to 7 months. So that was a good number. But in 2015, open all 12 months, we almost doubled it. We had 9,862. So that's great to see coming through the visitor center. And of course, these are only the numbers that are captured. These are people signing in. You know, there's some people, of course, wandering in that we might not get to capture as well. So those numbers might be a little lower than they actually are, which is even better. We think this is important because we're looking for tourism in Tumbler Ridge, and that's, we're hoping to drive our economy with tourism, and looking at 9,800 people coming through our visitor information center. That's a good number. Local residents was another one I wanted to point out. So we had 325 local residents come through in 2014, almost 1,500 in 2015. And a lot of those people are shopping, they're bringing in their friends, they're bringing in other people from out of town. So I like to see that because especially the shopping part, that means local money is staying locally to our local businesses, which I find incredible. And that's actually going to bring me to my next slide then. So looking at our merchandise revenues, again, so January, February, March, April, we were closed in 2014. In May, you see $221.70 in 2014. You see that over double in 2015. And then June was a little bit lower, unfortunately, in 2015 than in 2014 because that was moving, so we were in transition that month. But the numbers just keep getting better. So in July, we sold almost 600 in 2014, but we sold almost 1,700 in 2015, and the number just keeps going. So in total for 2014, we had only sold about $4,172, over $14,000 in 2015. So that's almost a 350% increase, and that's all to local businesses. So that's local people getting that money, and ourselves as well. So it's just keeping a lot of that money in the town, which is what we want to see. So quick summary of 2015. The Tumbler Ridge Chamber of Commerce has increased organizational capacity by the board development and vision workshops that we had done. Accountability, we hired a payroll company and an accountant to help keep us accountable. We've increased our memberships, increased visitor numbers and data, and increased our direct and indirect revenues. Some of our goals for 2016, a lot of that same stuff, just we want to continue to increase the chamber memberships, which this year already, this is another exciting one for me. So in 2014, we had 38 memberships. In 2015, we had 32. It's March, and we're already at 46 approved, and we have more still coming at our next meeting. So already it's March, and we've already surpassed 2014 and 2015, so I'm very excited about that. We want to continue to increase our visitor numbers, and we want to continue to support our businesses through networking, promotion, and business development opportunities. So some of those I'll speak to on my next slide. We're hosting Lunch and Learn business development sessions. I don't know, I haven't seen any of you there yet, but we've seen lots of people come through. Geraldine, can you tell me what the numbers were? Sorry, you have 15?
We're averaging between 20 and 30 per. We've had one session that was 15, but every other session has been over 20 residents attending.
And this is twice a week that we're hosting these, and it's been over a month already. So fantastic numbers. We're helping them to develop business plans, increase the businesses that they already have. It's been a very great session. We're doing that with Community Futures, so big thank you to them, even though they're not here. We are hoping to host a job fair in partnership with the District of Tumbler Ridge this year. We're looking forward to doing a business directory, a business map, some of the initiatives that we're taking on, and just increased business promotion. We're also excited about Still Standing, a CBC TV show. So for this, Jalen, I'm going to pass this over to you and let you speak to this.
No, I'm good. I think everybody can see me or hear me at least. So first of all, about 10 months ago, I wrote to a TV show called Still Standing. It's a CBC show that basically deals with communities that have faced adversity and are still standing, due largely in part to the heart of the community, the people. And so back in January, when I took over as chamber manager, I got a call from Still Standing, from the researcher who said, well, we want to look at your community. They did a big research package on us, they presented it, and we were selected as one of the communities that will be featured on the show. So tonight I would like to introduce you to Rob Hines. He is the producer of the Tumbler Ridge Still Standing show. He'll be in town for the next couple of days. I've taken him around to businesses today, and I'll do that again tomorrow. So he's been able to meet our business people. He's been able to meet some of the people in Tumbler Ridge that are instrumental in kind of the past, our history, and in our future. And he got to spend some time with Mayor McPherson and with our CAO this morning, and just really excited about that. One of the things we're looking to do in combination with the Still Standing show is this year's Tumbler Ridge's 35th birthday. And so we're hoping that during the week that they're here, we're going to be able to have a birthday party. So I'm still looking into gaining funding for that, so that's in the works right now. Rob, did you have anything you wanted to say?
I do not.
No. Let me tell you, that is the first time today that he has actually had nothing to say. So, yeah, so we're looking forward to that. We're hoping that the town will get on board with that, and still standing. And then the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the job creation partnership. As many of you know, last year there was a job creation partnership proposed due to just time constraints. It was a proposal that would hire 12 people to build one trail in town and build a shelter out at Moose Lake. It would have employed 12 people for 16 to 18 weeks, and we were very excited about it. What ended up happening is it went too late in the season, so there wasn't 16 or 17 weeks of good weather left for the building and the work to actually be done. So the federal government put that kind of on the side, and we've kind of picked it up again, and we're looking at doing this again. The thing about a job creation partnership, or a JCP, as a lot of you know them as, is that they work in combination with Work BC. A JCP is a partnership between several entities. The federal government obviously picking up the largest part of the tab, but there needs to be buy-in from the community, there needs to be buy-in from industry and different organizations. So the Chamber has already committed to their portion of that. We have Pattern Energy, who has already built a pad out at Moose Lake for the shelter. And I'm working to get in contact with them and see if they're still committed to building or assisting with the supplies to build a shelter. Last year, the district had committed $40,000 to that. I will probably be coming back to talk to you again about that. So it's a partnership between these entities to put people to work. And I think right now, with the way the situation is, putting people to work is a priority.
Thank you. And that's it. So that's, we'd like to say a big thank you to the district and for your support through the fee-for-service. And we're looking forward to continue working with you to support and strengthen Tumbler Ridge. And for questions and...
Well, thank you for that presentation. That was awesome. Do you have any questions? Guy?
You mentioned a little bit about the benefits that is provided through the chamber. Does that also, you might have mentioned it, but it kind of skipped by me. Did you also mention, is there medical benefits, medical and dental? Is that also available?
There is, yes.
Right, that's great. And this JCP, if you don't mind touching on that, that's going to be very similar to the one that was introduced, or is that exactly the same?
That's
Same project?
the same proposal. What we're doing is we're just confirming that all of the partners are still on board to proceed with it. The issue is that it takes 6 weeks for a JCP or a job creation partnership to be go through the vetting process at the federal government level. So depending on when we get it put in, we have to, we're going to be running into time constraints again. Because what happens is that once we're approved, then our people that are hired, we have to hire first, and that takes some time. And then once they're hired, they go to the college. And that puts a bunch of people, local people, gleaning education through our college, and that will take 2 to 3 weeks, possibly a month. And then the actual program begins. So it's, yeah, we're on a fairly tight time frame here.
I'm sure glad to hear that we're going to have another opportunity at that. And again, I'd like to just also thank you because everything you've hosted is first class, and you really contribute well to that. So it's great to see you and great to see you functioning, and wish you the best of luck. So.
I was just curious as to when the production crew for the Still Standing is going to be in town. Is there a tentative date?
We're going to be here April 25th through the 29th.
Maybe I'll add that at the end of this, Still Standing gives a gift back to the community. What that gift is a stand-up comedy show. And so there will be, the Friday evening, a stand-up comedy show in town that the entire community will be invited to attend. And it will be a professional stand-up comedian who is well-known nationwide. The host of this show, I guess we should have talked about
Yeah,
that.
if you want, I can explain a little, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the show. Season 1 ran last year. Season 2 begins in July. The Tumbler Ridge episode will actually be season 3. I'm not even sure when season 3 airs, but what it is our host is a stand-up comedian. He also is an actor that appears on another CBC show called Murdoch Mysteries. His name is Johnny Harris. He's from Newfoundland. He's actually from a small town. I believe his town is 125 people. Pouch Cove, Newfoundland, I believe it is. Thank you. And each episode, he goes to a town that's facing adversity, as Geraldine explained. And what he does is he learns the history of the town, he learns the people of the town, but more importantly, he learns why the town's still standing, what it is about these people in this community that makes the town special and makes it survive the adversities that it's facing. And then at the end of the week, once he gets to know the people of town, he does a stand-up comedy show in the town, and it's for the town and about the town. So every show that he does and every episode, it's 100% a unique performance. So every minute that he's basically not in town interviewing people, he's going to be back at the hotel working on his act, because he has to write the act, perform the act, perfect the act, and then perform for the people at the end of the show. So the way the show is sort of structured is interspersed with, while he's talking to people, it'll keep cutting back to the live performance. So he will say something, I met with your mayor today, and then he'll be in the crowd. And it's that kind of interaction with the people. So it's not like it's structured like interviews and then there's a show at the end. The show is always interspersed through that.
Well, you kind of started the comedy act today with me. We went through the interview and then we decided that the camera wasn't on.
It works way better. Let me tell you, as a professional, it's way better when it's on.
And thank you for that. And I know with the chamber, well, it's a tough time to start with, but when you take over the fee for service for running the Vic Center, it's a fine line between tourism and business. And the chamber is business oriented.
Yeah.
And that's a concern of mine, is that business comes first and tourism thing comes second. And it's just a concern I brought, I just bring it up to you, so we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think that we are in agreement with that. This new plan is very much business focused. So most of the things you'll see this year are going to be business focused, and then Vic is going to be run as the Vic second. Yes, yeah.
You do a wonderful job over at the Vic Center. I've known you every time, and it's great. And I've heard a lot of feedback from tourists that think it's just wonderful.
Thank you for that.
And on the breakfast meetings, I've been involved with the chamber for years before this chamber.
Okay.
And breakfast meetings used to be really good, but the fact that there was, and you actually had one, but you had a gentleman from Enbridge that showed up to tell us business people how to get involved with Enbridge.
Okay.
Those are the types of meetings that get you out of bed a little bit.
Yes.
You know, if you got somebody from, say, a mine or something that's going to tell you how to sell stuff. And I think that's what makes it breakfast meeting. Because it's tough for some businessmen to get to a lunch meeting.
Absolutely. Yes.
Your day's going already. Just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
And that's all for me. Everybody's okay. Well, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Oh, I think it was the whole side.
Good job, Miss Mandy. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to 5.3, our Youth Services Society, fee for service. Don Wagner.
Dawn's, she's here. I'm the new president, and I'm gonna chew on your ear here a bit. And Lloyd, are you coming to sit up here? He's the vice president. We had our AGM in, March, I guess? No, February. February, yeah. We did a few changes. Dawn's still on as our as our manager. Carlson's still on the board as well as Trent. And Stephanie's come on, and we have a few other members too. So we've managed to keep the board solid, which is a nice thing in this day and age. So we were here in January, and we kind of gave you a rundown of everything we do, and so I won't go over that all again unless you guys have some questions. Definitely ask. Yes. Oh, yes. So just to give you kind of a quick update since January, that our numbers are still holding since we were here to see you last. 90% of the students registered at the high school attend the youth center in one form or another. We decided in March to dedicate Wednesdays from 3 to 5 for the grade 5 and 6. We're finding that they're a little bit intimidated by the bigger kids, which is standard. And they've had 7 came the first week, 18 the second, and 10 the third. So I know I've talked to some kids in the elementary school, and they're kind of liking that. So hopefully they get a feel for the place and realize they can come in when the big kids are in there. The youth since, so what has she got here? Okay, so they've been involved in the Winter Carnival, volunteering for the activities, anti-bullying, climbing through TRSS, so that's at the high school. They are working with the Lions Club with a peekaboo board for Easter. So basically you can go put your face in the board and take some pictures. And they did a trip to Powder King in February. And so some upcoming events, they want to do some free skating and swimming events. The Midnight Madness things we kind of talked about. Also some climbing. I hadn't talked to Dawn yet, but there's been a couple members in the community who've volunteered their time to maybe have some competitions on the climbing wall there. There's probably chess tournaments and KGB entertaining nights, line campground cleanup, and a chainsaw carving excursion to Chetwynd and Jim's. And I guess we just want to reiterate that the youth center is a safe place for the kids to come and maybe get some information. We're working on getting some information out there about drug use and safe sex and that kind of stuff for the older kids, and just have a place where they can get that information if they don't know where else to get it from, and that they know that there's certain hours they can go and be safe and off the street. So we just want to really continue to do that and hope we can continue to do that with your support, because without your support we won't be able to. We did have some reserve funds which we used for 2014 or 2015 year. But we won't be able to do that for the rest of this year. We do have funds to carry us through till you guys give us the yes. And anyways, so that's it. If you have any questions?
Thank you very much for getting us up to speed. And, you're the most important people in this town, the youth, so thank you very much for doing what you do there. Any questions from council? Councilor McCash.
Thanks again for coming in. You guys do a great job, and it definitely it's great to see a place that the youth can go and as you mentioned, feel safe and meet their friends after school. Is there ever any is the youth ever, or any, I guess, given a little bit of leadership responsibility in organizing their own events? And I mean like dances or things like that maybe where the adults can maybe just provide supervision, but kind of leave it up to them to do their thing.
Whenever we do something like a dance or anything like that, the kids do take the lead and they run the concession, they run the door. Like for instance, at a dance, they run the door, they do the playlist and DJ the event. They basically do the whole thing with some adult supervision.
That's great. Up until just a couple of years ago, we did have a youth counselor here. And it'd be nice to see us maybe leaning a little more towards that again and getting youth actively involved in our council meeting. Kind of giving a little bit of a point of view. I mean, I think that's talks that we have to have, but it sure would be nice to see that again. But again, thanks very much.
Thank you.
There's just one comment I'd like to make before we go any further. The reason we're asking for a little more money this year is the same reason I stated in January. We just finished a skiing trip. We didn't have to, but we did help a lot of the kids out on the lift fees and transportation and all that. which came out of our pocket, more so than just saying, okay, you gotta give us so much money and, or you can't come. And we've been doing this now since the year started, and we've noticed a big reaction from the kids themselves. But they appreciate it. I mean, we can only help them so far. That's why we're here. Most of the money that we raise goes to the kids. Like, we don't raise any money that don't go to the kids. There's no money other than, we only hire one person. She's the only one paid. Anybody else that's in the organization isn't paid unless we're doing volunteer work for them or helping them out or paying for gas to go to these trips. We want to go on more trips. That's the whole thing. The idea is to get the kids more involved. Like you said about the kids being involved, that's what we're pushing for. We're pushing to get the kids involved. But the kids only do so much and then won't go any further. We have to sit down, we have to talk to them. We had a council with youth council, actually a youth council last year. And it kind of fell apart because, well, there was a lot of girls coming, but there was no boys coming. We tried to change that. And then after a while, because of what happened, of course, everybody, jobs changing in this town, we haven't been able to organize it again to get enough of the kids interested. We're still trying. And we're trying to get the kids to organize their own group, to tell us what they want, not us telling them what they want. And we have trips planned, but they all cost money. So that's my say.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of comments. The Chamber of Commerce and the Youth Services Society have been around for a long, long time. Critical, in my opinion, for Tumbler Ridge. You're doing just a superlative job. But I find your comment interesting about the girls are showing up, but the boys aren't. There's a change there someplace, isn't there? Never used to be like that, I don't think.
To do the organizational stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The boys want to show up for the activity.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thanks.
But, you know, I'm just gonna say, I don't mind, keep them in, participating in something that definitely better than not participating.
Well, and what I like is that the board is still strong, so when you have a
we're
strong
strong.
board, then you've got lots of new ideas and stuff. And everybody on the board's willing to work. So if any of you guys have some ideas, something you'd like to see, it's definitely giving us a show. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, take us number 6, correspondence. Tumbler Ridge Day Society, Grisfest.
On that, I'm going to excuse myself, because I'm going to run the board.
Okay, thank you. I guess this should come up for discussion because they are requesting something.
Thank you, Worship. I would put a motion on the floor, if that's in order, to provide the fee for service funds of $55,000 to be released to TRDs in full.
Here for that? Okay. Any other discussion? Not at all.
Just curious as to what it was last year.
I think this is part of a 3-year deal, but Mr. Wall.
You're asking how much we approved for the, I'm not sure off the top of my head, Chris, do you know? 65,000 last year. And just to let council know, if you want to move forward with this right now, you'll need to, as part of your motion, include a waive, you'll need to waive your fee for service policy to release the funds.
So we can add that to your
Yes.
motion? That's okay with the seconder?
Yes, Your Honor, Your Worship.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Wall?
So you've approved the amendment, now we need you to approve the amended motion.
Okay, I thought we were just adding that to to the motion.
You've done that now. Now we need to vote on the amended motion.
Okay. Now on the main motion.
Question on that?
Go ahead.
What was my question? I was ready to ask it the last time.
It's all right.
It's okay, never mind.
Okay. All in favor?
This was a rush to get this.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
Okay, that takes us to bylaws. Bylaw number 629, 2016, revitalization tax exemption amendment. As the recommendation. Councilor Kai.
I'd like to recommend that the District of Tumbler Ridge Revitalization Tax Exemption Amendment Bylaw number 629, 2016 be introduced and read a first time.
Okay. Seconder? Scott? Discussion? All in favor? Okay, recommendation 2. That's okay.
Recommend that the District of Tumbler Ridge Revitalization Tax Exemption Amendment Bylaw number 629, 2016 be read a second time.
That bottom part goes along with it.
Oh, and that in accordance with the Community Charter, Section 227, that's number 3, notice to be given to the community regarding the proposed amendment to revitalization tax exemption bylaw number 570, 2010, in order to obtain public input on this amendment.
Seconder? Councilor Scott? Discussion? All in favor? Okay, I think that's new business. District of Tumbler Ridge Investment Report. For information and discussion. Mr. Hall?
There's a recommendation attached to this report.
Oh, okay. Did I have the recommendation? Dr. Scott.
That council moves to semi-annual investment performance reporting.
Your seconder? Any discussion? That's all.
I just like the way it is, like
Mr. Walden, did you want to discuss at all, why you want to do this?
This is simply a time-saving measure. I think throughout this year and next year, we'll be bringing a number of these reports to council. Just a way to decrease our operational time, which decreases our operational costs. It's up to council whether it wants you. If this is important enough to see every month, we'll keep it. If it's not, then we can move on and decrease some of our operational time that's required in finance.
I think monitoring it is extremely important, and I agree with Councillor Howell that right now a monthly reporting would be what I would like to see.
Councilor Casey.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm prepared to vote in favor of the motion that's on the floor, and I would also suggest, and correct me, Mr. Wall, if I'm wrong, if there, as you are checking these and so forth, if there is any significant difference or whatever that may come up prior to report being submitted to council, is it fair to say that that picked up by you or your staff, at which time it would come to us sooner? Is that a fair assessment?
Thank you, Mayor McPherson, through to Councillor Casey. Yes, that's a fair assessment. And what this says here is that we'll still be monitoring this on a monthly basis. It's not that we're not going to monitor it, it's just compiling the report that comes back. So if there's any major changes, we'll bring it to you. We're invested in investments that you shouldn't see month to month changes that are too dramatic. And so that's another one of the reasons we're looking to move towards the semi-annual, but again, it's up to council what you guys want to see.
Thank you.
Councillor Hall.
Well, again, in my mind, it slipped off the radar before, and I don't want to see it slip off again, and certainly not while I'm up here as a councillor. And it was left to previous councils to say that why it slipped off, but as far as I'm here, I'd like to see month to month for now. I understand it takes staff time, but we're making close to $35,000 to $40,000 a month off of our investments now, so that was something that we weren't making before. So as far as I'm concerned, if that takes 6 hours of staff time a month to look at it, I'm good with that. Just my take on it.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, 8.2, community center storage. We get the recommendation. Councillor Pratt.
Recommend that council remove the community center storage building from the 2016 Tumbler Ridge budget, and that council direct staff to bring all community center storage leases to council when they expire.
Seconder for that. Daisy? Discussion on it.
There you go.
All in favor?
Sorry. So, just explain to me what we're doing here again. We're voting to approve, or what? What are we doing here? I'm not clear on the recommendation.
Mr. Wall.
Thank you, Mayor McPherson. So this would be to remove the community center storage building from the 2016 budget. During the last budget meeting, council removed the pre-approval section of the community center storage building, but it was left on the budget. So basically what this report is saying to you, or saying to council, is there is enough space in the community center to meet the district storage needs. There's more than enough space to meet the district storage needs, but we've given out over a number of years all that storage space. So we're now storing district equipment, material in places that we can't keep it in for the long term. So this option for council is we're not going to make this community center storage building this year, and throughout the year, every lease as it expires will come to council. You guys will have the opportunity to allow that lease to expire, not renew it, and that'll free up storage space. And at the end of the year, we can take a look and see, okay, well, this much storage space was freed up. It's enough for the district's needs, so we don't need the storage building. If, as these come back to council, council decides to keep them in, what we'll say in 2017 is, council, you said that all these things are worth keeping in the community center, so we do need that additional storage. If council wants to make the determination right now that you wouldn't want to move any of these groups out of using the storage space in the community center, we can move forward with the storage building this year, and then we'll be looking for the alternative to the recommendation, which is provided here.
Okay, thanks.
I got to applaud staff for bringing this up, because he's going to tell us at the end of the year whether we do have to spend money on storage building or not. So I think it's something that the council's got to look at, whether we want rooms tied up for storage in that rec center, which to me is maybe a problem. So thanks for bringing it to us. Councilor Kai.
And that's where I was a little fuzzy on that too, because the next issue is storage spaces, and are they related in any way? Because we're looking at services that are being provided, the library, TR9 hockey, all the way through. So I'm just wondering, what relation does the one issue to have to the other? If this was lease agreements, then I could see that being relevant, but it's under the heading of storage spaces.
I'm not sure.
And then looking at our next thing on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor McPherson, through to Councillor McKay. So the next item on the agenda is a previous report that outlined for council what community groups are using storage space within the community center. So that's what you have here, is just an old report showing that these are the people who are leasing space in the community center. So this is an old report that council has seen, and the report that I put forward today is suggesting a path forward that as these leases expired, the ones on page 82, they'd be brought to council and council can determine then if you'd like to continue with them.
So I think what's been said here is that we'll look at storage, if we want to continue using some rooms for storage space, then we're going to have to look at next year building storage capacity.
Yeah.
Did you have something in there? Okay.
No, I think that explains it. Thanks.
Scott.
And just on that, I actually went through and made a bit of a spreadsheet myself so I could compare what every organization is getting. And for the fee, like we've got a lot of spaces out there for $1, and some have custodial, some we take care of, and then fees for services. So it would be nice to get a snapshot of every group to compare everybody and then come up with a kind of a fair or equal fee structure for everything. And I see some of the leases have expired. Like for instance, the Arts Council, room 2 and 3, it expired in December of 2014. And there's one that extends to 2017. So by the end of this year, most of them are coming up for renewal in 2016. So that'll give us time to organize all of it.
I think we can come up with a fair policy that covers everybody, and all get treated the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
Call the question on the motion.
all in favor? Vote. Okay, 8.3, Anna Hartley ticket booth. You have a recommendation now? Councilor Guy.
I recommend that council agree to enter an agreement with the Tumbler Ridge Minor Hockey Association to lease the ticket booth space for their use as a central office. That council direct staff to prepare a 3-year to sign, to agree and sign. And the council direct staff before modifications needed to provide a secure space, and the council approve to attach a fee of $400 for the use of the ticket booth space.
Seconder? Councilor Scott? Discussion? All in favor? Vote. Okay. 8.4, favorite topic, recycling. We have a recommendation there too. Councilor Scott?
The construction of a recycling building for $221,000 be included for pre-approval in the 2016 Tumbler Ridge budget as outlined in Schedule D, building improvements.
Seconder? Okay. Discussion?
I'm just looking for a little more background on why this needs to be pre-approved in the budget. And a little bit more background on what, there's a lot of costs in here, there's a lot of numbers, and just looking for a little rundown on how it actually works here. And we approved a baler last year for $250,000, and it wasn't told to us that we had to spend $90,000 to assemble it and put it in the building. I'm sure at that point there, it was asked if the existing building would work for this baler, and now we're looking to build a new building. So I don't feel like this is something that we want to rush through to go off and spend another, whatever it is, $500,000 here. And I want a little bit more feedback from staff on what we're trying to accomplish here, and how this is gonna meet our recycling needs any better than what it has in the last year by taking the recycling bins away from downtown.
This is 3 days before I get to talk to MMBC, PRRD, so I'll know a lot more after that, but I know discussing this with other communities that we are we're ahead of most of them, because this recycling is going to happen. It's something that just everybody due diligence to take care of our garbage and the ground we put it in and stuff, and it's a big dollars. I don't think it's a thing that's ever going to show a profit. It's got to be done as cheap as possible, and this MMBC is going to be the cheapest way of going. And that seems to be the direction going out here. When we get this contract with MMBC, we'll be ready to go. Where a lot of communities at that time are gonna say, well, we gotta spend a ton of money just to get to where we're at right now, it's not really. And, I think it's a good thing that we're doing this, because we're taking small steps to get there. But, Mr. Wall, you have something?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to address some of the questions raised by Councillor House. So the first I would say on the installation of the baler, the total cost of the baler as presented in the 2015 budget, hasn't increased, it was just a rollover. And what this year's represents is the final payment on the baler, as well as the installation, and the vast majority of the money in this year's budget is for the final payment. It's nowhere close to $90,000 for installation. I'd say 80 to 90% of that price is just for the final payment. So to go back, and this was before my time, to comment on what happened in 2015, administration requested a cold storage building to go into the transfer station, and what happened was council removed that, and so that was a direction for staff to go back and see, is there another way we can do this? And when we went back and took a look, the temporary storage options, or sea cans or lean-tos, for moving towards curbside recycling won't be enough. And if you just think about it, we're looking at curbside recycling, moving towards curbside recycling is basically what this report entails, because you take a look at the yearly cost options, the curbside recycling by getting on MMBC has the lowest cost option for the district. So we're taking those steps to move towards curbside recycling. That means we need to take in all the recycling across the entire community, and there would be no reason for our transfer station to already have a capacity to take in all recycling for the entire community. We need to store all of the stuff before we can bale it. We need to bale it. We need to store it before it can go down. I can tell you, if the materials get wet, we pay big fines on it, so you'll see an increase. So in order for us to move to curbside recycling, to have this lowest cost option, so Mayor McPherson, you said that you don't make money on recycling. We're pretty close to cutting even on introducing a recycling program. If we were to not move to a recycling program, you can see on the page 98, that's actually our most expensive option, because the fee that we get charged to take the garbage out of Tumbler Ridge will increase dramatically. And if we were to move away from recycling, that's likely to increase. The province is year by year starting to implement stiffer fines on communities who are not doing recycling. And we have, with MMBC, the option to move to curbside for very cheaply. There are some communities who haven't done that. I believe Fort St. John is one of them, and they've had to pay a lot more money than Tumbler Ridge is looking at, because we're taking these steps right now. And the final question, Councillor Howe, why is it pre-approved? Just because it's a building and we need to move on doing the designs and everything right now. So if we want to have the building built in 2016, we need to have it pre-approved in the budget. Finally, we can still put the baler in the current building that we have now, but when we take a look at the capacity we're going to need to deal with curbside recycling, to take in all the recycling for the community, we're going to need another building. So the way that administration feels, why would we cut a hole in the building we have now and then build another building in a year to do that? Why don't we just build put the baler in a building that's designed for it, and then we don't have to make any modifications on what we have. And so that is just the long-term thinking in order to keep our assets for the long term.
Okay, I got Councillor
Okay, I think everyone is in agreement with moving to curbside, but I think we kind of jumped the gun last year when we ordered the baler prior to the building. So I would like to see more information. I'd like to see the planning and the timeline for the whole move towards the curbside in its entirety. I know that when we took the bins from downtown, that decreased some of the people doing the recycling. There's young mothers, elderly. They're not going out to the recycling building and doing that. So I would like to see the whole timeline, like whether it's 1 to 2 years or 3 years, before we start making decisions on a building or, putting the baler together.
Mine was the same thing. I was just wondering about a timeline. When could we go back to the residents and say, yeah, you'll have curbside recycling at the door?
Wall.
Thank you, Mayor McPherson. That depends on how persuasive Mayor McPherson is in 3 days. This is out of our control. This is MMBC, it's a provincial program. We're supposed to have been in already. This was, I believe, originally supposed to have been the year. What I can say is we had to take the recycling bins out of the downtown because in order to move towards the MMBC depot, which, you know, you can see the difference in cost between curbside for MMBC when we're on the program and not is $143,000 per year versus $440,000 per year, because what MMBC allows us to do is take 5 out of the 7 recycling categories. It doesn't include glass and another one, styrofoam. So there's a couple things that you can't do, but for the most part, it allows you to put everything in one box, you bale it, you send it out, and if we can't get on the MMBC program, we're going to have to collect all of the recycling, bring it up to the transfer station, have our employees manually sort it, and move from there. And this is what allows us to decrease our costs from the $255 per ton that we send out without recycling to the $55 per ton that we send out with recycling.
So are we not putting the cart ahead of the horse here? Like, shouldn't we find out that we're gonna be part of the MMBC before we decide to spend the money on it?
Well, I think it's a fact that we are going to be part of the MMBC, but it's how long it's going to take to get there. That's what.
Okay, so for argument's sake, let's say it takes 10 years and we put a baler down there and we can't use it for 10 years. And the people don't get to go and dump their stuff off town where they expect to see it within a year. So my thing is, I don't want to go out and spend $200,000 till I got an answer from MMBC what they're going to do for our community. We're gung-ho to do it. I mean, we can tell them that, but why should we go and spend the money on something we don't even know if it's actually going to happen or not?
All I can say is that a little more 3 days.
And then let's vote on it in 3 days. Or next council meeting, or a week from
now. Yeah, I guess if this defeated it, it would stay on the budget. We just look at it at regular budget time anyway.
This would come back up for your March 31st meeting, so you could have a chat with MMBC and discuss it then. What I would say is that we can't move back to that system. Well, we could move back to the system where we're not an MMBC depot anymore, take our names off the waiting list, and then put that type of recycling back down at the station. But then we would risk going towards a time in the future where the province says, okay, you guys have had enough time to get on this. Now you have to do curbside recycling, and then we're operating at that $440,000 versus $143,000.
I don't think we definitely don't want to go backwards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's suggesting that. All I'm saying is that if we don't have confirmation from MMBC that they're gonna allow us to start recycling, that's regulated and has to be done by the province, you'd think they're gonna let us start recycling. Like, I don't quite get it. Don't spend the money until you know you can. I mean, that seems to me like you're going to buy an equipment before you have the contract signed, right? Wait till the contract signed, then you buy the equipment. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, so that's my take on it.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor of the motion? Opposed? Okay. Schedule of meetings. One thing I wanted to address there, and that's our April 4th regular meeting. We can have, I'd like to get township to agree to have it as a day meeting, maybe start at 1 o'clock, so we can have the Northeast Regional Municipalities come up and present to council that day, during the day. They have a hard time getting here during the night with meetings or council meetings on the same night. So, also, I can make it during the day and I can't make it at night, so it's either. I'd like to know how many a council can make it for the day meeting on April 4th.
I'm actually gonna be away that day.
The whole day
Yeah,
or?
the whole day.
Double day, so.
But I could probably do a phone in.
Daytime be better for
It
your
would,
opponent?
yeah, it wouldn't matter.
Yes.
So I'm likely unavailable at that time, but I'll have to see when it gets a little closer to the date.
Either time or,
You're suggesting 1 PM?
yeah, rather than 5.
No, I'm tied.
Okay.
Appointment at 1 PM.
That's okay.
Yep.
So I guess it doesn't look like we'll be able to do that.
It's up to council.
Okay, so we'll leave it at 5 o'clock. Anything else on scheduled meetings? Seeing none, we'll move on. Office business. Councilor Guy.
We held a meeting from the community forest, and it was a meeting to put together an annual report. So we have that done, and that'll be made available here fairly quickly. Not sure exactly. There's a little bit of formatting to do. It'll be like in a magazine type handout. That so it's probably I'm gonna guess within a month. So. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Leggett and completing the criteria and obtaining a certificate in local government financing administration, which definitely that's well done, and I also understand you done it while we were short staffed at the same time there, Chris. So congratulations, well done.
Thank you, Councilor.
And that's pretty well done. Other well to congratulate you on the addition to your family. Is that a first for Tumbler Ridge, by the way?
Could be.
Yeah, just.
The calf, if anybody's wondering.
Just wondering if you had the baby, that would be a miracle.
Councilor Scott.
I actually had a phone call regarding the Northeast Coalition and hoping that Tumbler Ridge rejoins. It was from a business in Dawson that is part of the organization. And they're just stressing how important it is for partnerships where everybody from the north be one voice when it goes to local government and south and the provincial government. Also, chaired the Building Healthy Communities Committee meeting, and we're aiming at bringing some speakers to town and possibly having some workshops either in the spring or the fall. And have submitted an article. It was a collaboration between Jeanette, Joanne, and myself to submit an article in preparation for the Northern Conference of the NCLGA coming up here in May. So there will be an article published showcasing Tumbler Ridge and inviting people to get on that circle tour that's going to be coming this way. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilor Hall.
The only thing I have to report is discussions with Pattern Energy. It sounds like March 28th will be the first load starting to come in for the Beagle Lane project. That will run until about the end of August. 750 loads coming in on the highways, and they could be coming in from Chetman Way and also in from the BC Alberta border. So just to let people know that they are getting loads starting to come.
Thank you. Councilor Casey.
Nothing to report at this stage, Your Worship.
The only thing I have is, and I need a unanimous support of council on this, is to make a motion to send a letter of support to that group that was here for the rally race. The group from Dawson Creek there. They just asked me if we could give them a letter of support that they can organize that deal, and I think it's a good deal. It's brings people to town. And we talked about the highway, that'd be up to DOT to make sure that's works there. So, can I get a unanimous vote of council to bring this as a motion? Show of hands of who will let me do this. Okay, I'll make the motion that we send a letter of support to the rally race people. Seconder? Councilor Guy? All in favor? Thank you. That's all I had. So that takes us to question and answer period. Roxanne?
I know I'm doing this at the risk of sounding like a broken record, but I'm wondering if you guys have heard from Enbridge in regards to the pipeline going across the community. If they have an alternate plan, if they can't go under.
Mr. Wall?
Thank you. We've invited Enbridge to come. They were supposed to be here this month. Donnie just emailed us and rescheduled for late April. I think April 21st is the meeting he's looking at.
Anybody else?
Sorry, just with that might be an excellent opportunity to try to rally the troops. If you know what I mean? Like fill this gallery when he comes in here so that we can show him that we do not want that above. I don't think they got that last time they were in here.
Yeah, I don't either, or they just were trying to avoid the whole topic altogether. But yeah, they definitely didn't want to give me a response when I said, so if you can't go over then what? Or if you can't go under then what? They
That's
just walked it. I will do that. I'll keep in touch with Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a couple things. I wanna just, first off, a friendly reminder to council that this is Easter weekend and the baseboard will be up and we would appreciate you coming out, supporting whichever group is going to be benefiting from that, whether it's the Rangers or the Youth Center or whoever.
Can you give us a time and,
It's 2 o'clock, 12 till 2. So, if you come at 11, we can line you up there and whatever time you come, between 12 and 2 is when it's the main.
you'll fit us in.
We'll fit you in, yes. So it'd be great to come out and show your support for the community. Second thing I have, when you're talking about this recycling program, I'm looking in this, the current recycling program here on this sheet. And I don't quite understand how this can be, but it says material can't be stored outside. I understand that because if it gets damaged, whatever. But it says, water damage bottles face significant fines. And it says the building to host the expected 700% increase in recycled materials. Like, we're gonna have to get some industry in town and people for it to increase 700%. I don't know where this number's coming from. I can't fathom that, so. Is there any?
I would think that 700% is the amount of recycling you get from households. It's just, because it's gonna be easier.
It's a 700% increase over what's being recycled now. I can't understand where that would come
I
from.
know in my house, it's 700% increase due to that lady right beside you there.
Over top of what you all do normally?
Oh, yeah, I hardly have any.
We don't even need garbage cans anymore.
That's it.
We just fill my garage up.
But I just can't. My last question is when you're doing your budgeting and you're doing your debates on when you get into the budget discussions, I know you can't tell now, but before this last snow came, I don't know. Well, I know you haven't, but if you drove anywhere around downtown, you can see our roads are failing very poorly. And they are going to get destroyed. And I would like to have you really think about infrastructure over new buildings. Because if we lose our roads, there's no sense having a building. So that's just one thing I'd like to put out there for you to think about as council.
Thank you for that. Okay, Trent, Tim.
Just a quick question and comment, actually. Some of you guys were here when we had the last discussion over the finalization of the bylaw, and I think it was Constable McElwain that attended that meeting. And at that time, we talked to him somewhat about the RCMP permits to allow us to access the trails. And I came away from that meeting with a pretty good impression that I believe he said they would willing to give it at least a trial run. Now, I've heard secondhand, I haven't been able to contact him, apparently he's gone till next Monday, but I've heard secondhand from someone fairly in the know that he's saying they absolutely will not do that. Now, I was just curious if anybody in the council or yourself has heard anything from him? Because I talked to Sergeant Craig at the Elkford detachment. I thought maybe, because he said he was gonna talk to them and see how they kind of did it, and I thought maybe that he got some bad info, but my conversation with Sergeant Craig today was that they're still doing it 100%. They haven't really had any issues. The only issues they've had are with people that aren't getting the permit, which are the same people we'd have problems with here. That, I mean, that we discussed that before. That'll never change. So I was just kind of curious if you had any feedback from Constable McElwain regarding that.
I haven't had any more than you've had. I was told that they will be issuing these permits. The only thing that I heard there is you had to be a club member to even apply for these.
Right.
So it helps the club. But yeah, I feel the same way you do. That, and I haven't heard anything different from that. So that's what I was expecting to happen.
Okay, well, I'll talk to him next week when he gets back, and I'll let you guys know what he says, and we might have to put the pressure on him a little bit, let him know that it's something, I think they know it's something you guys want, so.
Okay.
I mean, at least a trial basis, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but give it a go. I mean, we're carrying the same insurance and everything else as a motor vehicle on the road now, so I don't see any reason why we can't respectively leave our house and get to that trail and get out of town.
I will try and get over there and talk to him too, because that it was said right here in this room that
Yeah,
that
that's
was
the way I understood it. Yeah.
Trent? Good. Okay, I guess adjournment.
So
Okay,
moved,
Councilor
Your
Keith.
Worship. By golly, so moved.
Guys, second.
Gotcha.
All in favor? Yep. Thank you.